from an early age, 3 or 4 it was, I remember feeling that my gender was somehow out of kilter. I struggled with it through my teenage years.
Carolyn knew growing up that how she presented to the world as male didn't match how she felt inside. By the time she was 17, that feeling became unbearable. Carolyn says her vicar recommended so-called cure therapy, a now widely condemned practice that attempts to change or suppress someone's sexuality or gender identity.
The treatment was, and I'm smiling about it now, I didn't at the time, the treatment was to strap me to a wooden chair, electrodes strapped to my arms, and then on the wall facing me were pictures of women projected, and then a switch was thrown and the electric current went through my body.
I'm just wondering how all of this left you feeling about yourself.
It said to me that I was evil, I was dirty, I was wrong, and that I deserved that treatment.
Carolyn is careful to point out that while this type of electric shock conversion practice would no longer be prescribed on the NHS, so-called conversion practices are still legal in the UK. Despite, campaigners say, 4 years of broken promises from politicians. In July 2018, then Prime Minister Theresa May promised the UK's LGBTQ+ community that her government would ban conversion therapy.
We are determined as a government to end it.
Her resignation less than a year later meant that plan was put on ice. Enter Boris Johnson.
We will have a ban on gay conversion therapy.
After a series of U-turns earlier this year, the government said they were committed to banning conversion therapy, but that ban wouldn't include trans people. I just wonder what was going through your mind when you heard that.
Unless you include trans issues as part of the conversion therapy ban, you will be condemning people to mental agony and torture. You possibly, and in my view likely, be condemning some people to take their own lives. You'll be also saying to the general population that being trans is wrong.
The Prime Minister's stance prompted protests outside Downing Street. The government were forced to cancel their global conference on LGBT rights after more than 100 organisations withdrew their support. Among the most high-profile was Stonewall.
Almost everybody you can think of, big international human rights bodies like the UN, medical bodies like the British Medical Association, mental health organisations like Mind, or the Royal College of Psychiatrists, all of the LGBT charities, and progressive faith leaders from across faiths are in favour of a ban that protects everybody, including trans people.
We contacted the Equalities Office. While no ministers were available, a spokesperson said,
"The government has a proud record on LGBT rights, and we're committed to bringing forward legislation to ban conversion therapy. Our proposals strengthen existing provisions and introduce an offence which together protects under 18s and vulnerable adults from this abhorrent practice. Recognising the complexity of issues, we will carry out separate work to consider the issue of transgender conversion therapy further."
Carolyn says the practice left her feeling suicidal. Today, she is more comfortable in her own skin than ever before.
I haven't had a single problem to my face, not one. There is a song from the 1960s, Simon Smith and his Amazing Dancing Bear, and the line that echoes through me is, "Isn't it amazing how fair people can be?"